Hey, have you ever wondered if the meds you take for anxiety, depression, or sleep might have long-term effects you didn't expect? I just read something that honestly surprised me. A new study out of Sweden suggests a possible link between common psychiatric medications and a higher risk of developing ALS. Yeah, ALS, the same neurodegenerative disease you might know as Lou Gehrig's disease. Let's break this down. Researchers at the Karolinska Institute looked at health data from over 1,000 people diagnosed with ALS and compared them with more than 5,000 others of similar age and gender who didn't have the disease. What they found? Folks who took certain medications, specifically drugs for anxiety, depression, and sleep, seemed to have a higher chance of developing ALS later on. Here are the numbers. People who used anxiolytics, those are meds for anxiety, had a 34% higher risk. Antidepressants were linked to a 26% higher risk. And hypnotics and sedatives, which are often used to help people sleep, showed a 21% higher risk. Now, before you freak out, let me be clear. This study doesn't prove these meds directly cause ALS. There could be other factors at play. Maybe the underlying mental health issues themselves, or something else entirely, could be increasing both the need for these meds and the risk of developing ALS. And here's an important perspective. The absolute risk is still super low. ALS is rare. We're talking about 9 out of every 100,000 people in the US get it. Meanwhile, millions take these psychiatric meds every day and never develop ALS. The study also found that people who had taken these medications before being diagnosed with ALS tended to have a faster disease progression and an earlier risk of death. That's really sobering. But again, we don't know if the meds are the reason or if there's just something about the people needing those meds that also makes ALS more aggressive. Experts who weren't part of the study, like neuroscientist Susanna Tai, are urging everyone not to jump to conclusions. She points out that psychiatric conditions themselves seem to raise the risk for neurodegenerative diseases, and more research needs to be done before we point the finger at the medications. So what does all this mean for you? Well, if you're taking these drugs, don't panic, and definitely don't stop them on your own. Talk to your doctor if you're worried. Depression, anxiety, and sleep problems are real, and these medications help millions of people every day. But studies like this remind us of how complex our bodies and our brains really are. Science is always evolving, and it's worth keeping an eye on new research as it comes out. If you found this interesting, hit like, subscribe for more science updates, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay curious and take care of your mind and body.